Welcome back to another episode of Ark Survival Evolved. This is Zenix, and today we've got a cool episode. We're going to start breeding a little bit, and then we're also going on the hunt for some mini-Spinos, aka dimetrodons. So let's get started. So all these dinos are crammed over here on this side, which may make you wonder, why is this side completely empty? Why are we not using up this space? This is valuable space over here. So let me do a little explaining to you. What I want to do over here is I want to set up a hatchery. So with the dinos, you can actually mate them and they can hatch eggs, or for some of the more mammalian types, they'll actually have live births. And you can raise a baby dinosaur from its infanthood up to adulthood, and then it can be your tame dinosaur. And you can do that in a lot of ways. Okay, there's really only one way. You hatch the egg, you feed the baby dinosaur because it's hungry, and you feed it and you babysit it for a long time until it finally becomes an adult. And also, at one point, they become a juvenile at some like 1/3 roughly stage of their life cycle. They become a juvenile and they can eat from a feeding trough. And so babies eat a lot of food and they're always hungry. So you got to make sure that they're constantly fed. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to create an area that was kind of free of our other tame dinosaurs so that I could gather food and fill up a feeding trough and not have other dinosaurs mooching off our hatchery feeding trough. So I'm going to place this feeding trough right there. And this is our designated baby feeding trough right there. And then the other aspect of hatching eggs is that if you have a fertilized egg, you can lay it down onto the ground and hope that the outside temperature is the appropriate temperature for that egg to hatch. So if we look at the current temperature right now, in the top left it says Southern Islets 34 degrees Celsius. For some eggs, that is perfect. For other eggs, that is not the right temperature. And so what we can do is we can use air conditioners. And I had previously built up several of these, 5 of them to be exact, because at the time I had the materials and I knew I wanted to get into breeding and hatching dinosaurs at some point. And I was hoping to get to it sooner and I just hadn't gotten around to it. But now I think we're ready. So we've cleaned out this side of the base. So there's not a lot of dinosaurs that will be consuming from our feeding trough. And I need to put in air conditioners. And you ask, why do you need an air conditioner to hatch eggs? Air conditioners have this magical property that they can set the ambient temperature around the area to a controlled temperature. So for eggs that need to be hatched, regardless of what egg you put down, it is the perfect temperature to hatch that egg. So that egg will incubate regardless of what the external temperature is, which is awesome. So what I need to do is figure out where I want to put these air conditioners, and then they run off of power, so I'll have to run some power and an electrical outlet over to wherever I put them, and then we'll be able to mate some of our dinosaurs, and we'll get to that process. So let me figure out where exactly I'm going to put these guys. Let me lay them down, get them set up, and then we'll be ready to go. So I think I decided that I want to do them right here in this area. Just keep this as the hatchery area. Put 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Make it a little U shape so I can put an egg right in the center and it'll have maximum air conditioned area. So what I want to do, I just want to make sure this is lined up, just because I like things being straight and in order. Go ahead and do that. Have to grab the next one. We'll just put them right next to each other. So the properties of these air conditioners is that they only affect an area within a certain distance of where they are. And so they'll only affect, I don't remember how many squares or foundations of distance away from where they are. And so that's why if you just do one air conditioner, it could affect the temperature range by a set amount, which may or may not be enough for the type of egg that you're hatching. So that is why you need to have multiple air conditioners set up so that they are essentially compounding the ability to adjust that temperature to be exactly what that egg needs to be. So by having 5 of these, I'm setting it up so that the eggs, we have a better ability to adjust that temperature for those eggs that require greater temperature differentials. And so some eggs, like let's say for example a dodo egg, if you were to get a fertilized dodo egg, I don't know the exact range, but I'm sure that it could probably hatch just about anywhere, except maybe in the super cold zone. However, with some of the kind of higher level dinosaurs, Rexes, Quetzals, etc., they either require the temperature to be super hot or super cold. And so the ability for these air conditioners to actually impact that temperature where those eggs will actually hatch increases with the number of air conditioners you lay down, which is why I have 5. And I think 5 will be plenty. I'm not going to do a lot of breeding, but I wanted to do some breeding, and that is a good way to start. So now our next item of business is we need to get them powered on, which means we need some more of these intersection cable wires, and I'm probably going to need several of them to come along this way. And I think I'm just going to come along this wall all the way down here and then come across, and we'll put an electrical junction box. See, I have one right there. We'll put one of those up close to their air conditioners so that they'll get set up. So that means I have to build one, which means I need 3 electronics. I have the wood and I have the metal ingots. And then for the intersections, I just need metal, which I have tons of metal, so I should be able to make those. I should be able to make enough electronics. Barely! I can barely make enough electronics for this project. So I'm glad that that is the case. Otherwise, I would have to go find some pearls. So let's turn this on. And I need 3 electronics for this, and I can make 3. And then I'll make the junction box. And I'm not sure how many of these I'm gonna need. I don't need 100. I probably need 10-ish, maybe. So let's put the junction box, let's take it and put it in number 6 slot. Let's take the cable intersections, put them in the number 5 slot, and let the rest of them build. And then we'll go put this together. And let's see, I did 5 for the intersection. 5. And then I should be able to put the junction box right there. And we've got air conditioners powered up. Isn't that cool? So Tribe of Wonder has set up this crazy looking pen over here in one of the swamps. Let's see if we look at our map. Oh, the sun's shining. if we look at our map over kind of on the east side of the island, and they set up this pen with the big gigantic behemoth gate in the center. And so you can see it's owned by Tribe of Wonder. And then they've got two pens. They've got one on the right and one on the left. And so what they've been using this for, which I think is a fantastic idea, is they drop those Titan boas into one side of the pen. And they let the Titan boas hang out, lay eggs, and then what they'll do is they'll open up that door and aggro all the snakes over to the other side and close the door and then go collect the eggs. And that seems like a much more efficient way to collect eggs than what we have been doing, which is kind of cool. So I'm over here in the swamp because I'm actually on the hunt for a dimetrodon. And actually, did I get lucky? There is a male dimetrodon right there. So the RG cannot pick up the dimetrodon. However, a Quetz can. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to borrow this pen that they use for Titan boas. I'm going to drop a dimetrodon in there and tame the dimetrodon inside the pen and see if I can find another one and just see if I can get two of them because I need some of the eggs. So I need a male and I need a female. And so the dimetrodon, it gives us dimetrodon eggs, which can be used to tame Gallilemus. And also another cool property of these guys is this fin that they have acts kind of like a fan, like an air conditioner. So we're using air conditioners to hatch eggs, and you can actually use dimetrodons to do that as well. I think that's kind of neat. So let's see if we can knock him out. There's one. Two. Uh-oh, I missed. How could I miss? I can't miss with only 5 darts. Got him. Pretty sure that's my last one. No ammo. Okay. So, oh, I gotta make sure that I have the trank darts and not the regular ones because I switched them out earlier. I should probably make some more. Since we're here. I don't like this bush here. I don't think I can. Here, I can gather the bush, get it out of the way. Uh-oh, he's getting bloodied up. That's not good. Oh, he's unconscious. I think I probably shot him once after. Oh, man. Okay, that should be fine. So, his torpidity is dropping rather rapidly, actually. So I should probably make sure I have enough of the narcotics. I'm using a bunch of them to make arrows. Should probably just stop that. Grab some narcotics, and I think I'm just gonna do meat. Just regular old raw meat. I don't really want to go hunt down primes for this guy, and I'm gonna be here for a while anyway, trying to find another dimetrodon, so he should be fine. Oh man, his torpidity is dropping so fast. Oh man. Okay, this may be a different process than what I was thinking. Holy cow. Yeah. He's going to take quite a bit more narcotics than I thought initially. His torpor drains in only 54 seconds. his torpidity is still going up. So let me check to see how many primes it should take him. It's going to take 6 primes, 18 minutes. So spoil timers on these are all 22 minutes. So they should last long enough to get this guy tamed up. And with the primes, it's not going to take as many narcotics, thank goodness, to keep him out. So I think that's probably a better plan with these guys, since their torpidity drops so quick, is on that first one, just let it drop really low, then pump them full of narcotics with, in this case, 60 of them. It would fill up his torpidity, and it takes longer to fill up the torpidity than it does for it to drop, so you end up adding some additional time. And then just hope that you don't lose your Mav. There he is. So I'm going to just scout around real quick and see if there's any others around the area that I can pick up and knock out real quick so I can tame them both at the same time. Now his torpidity is dropping again! And this time I'm not going to use the entire stack. I'll probably use, I don't know, 40. I think he's almost ready to tame. So should be able to do just like, let's say 40 or so. Because he's at 70%, eating primes, having a good time. Gotta be ready with this narcotic, because that torpor drops fast. Oh, and he tamed up without me even having to use any. Woo! That was close. Call him fanboy because he's got that big old fan on his back. Okay. Just take the narcotics off of him. I'll leave. Oh no. You behavior. You need to be passive. Okay. Okay. And you can not follow me. Cool. Alright. So, gonna see if I can snag him out of here with the quets. Should be good. And then, nope, that's not what I wanted to do. Come on, man, follow me. All right, we're just gonna take him home. Okay, guys, we have a slight change of plans. I was gonna take this dimetrodon back home, and I thought, you know, I might as well keep an eye out for another one, a female, because that could be helpful. And I saw this male, and he has a heart on him, so there's a female somewhere. I haven't seen her yet, but if I can find her, I may just leave the one that we tamed over in that pen for now, and go and take this other one back to the base to tame it at the base. If I can find her. There's another male, and he also has a heart. You see him there in the water? So there's a female here somewhere. Okay, so I'm gonna run this one back to that pen and drop him off and let him hang out in the pen. And then I'm gonna come back and see if I can locate that female. Okay, keep an eye out for that female, guys. I think I see something over here. Nope, I didn't. What is that? There's the one of the males. I think that's the other male. This one doesn't have the heart on it anymore. Does this one? That one still has the heart. Oh, there's one. Is that it? Where'd it go? It's here somewhere. Okay, let's try again. There's the female. Level 10. Nice. Okay. See if I can snag her. I got her. Okay. So we'll run her back to the base. We'll make up some darts to knock her out. Oh, Mav is getting stuck. Mav, you need to not get stuck, please. We'll run her back to the base, make up some darts, get her knocked out, get her tamed, and we'll have to come back and get her buddy, Mr. Fanboy. Get her biggest fan. Alright, we'll see you when we got that all set up. So guys, we got her dropped off in the pen, and I'm actually going to use the shocking trank darts just because I have them on hand and might as well use them, right? It's only going to take 3, 0 chance of her dying from it, so I'm just going to use that. We have her here. She's level 10, and I also have a bunch of narcotics, so once she's knocked out, I got to quickly pump her full, and she's only going to take 3 primes, so I should be able to hunt down some primes with Mav over here once we've done the initial set of narcotics. So before I knock her out, I just want to check to make sure how many it takes to completely fill her torpor, and it's going to take 30 to completely fill her torpor. So let me just go ahead and get a shot in. Get another shot in. I was thinking maybe 2 would be enough, but it's looking like it's gonna be 3. Okay, so she's knocked out. Gracious, look at that torpor drop. Yeah, she's much lower level, so she has a lot less torpor than the other one did. So, gonna have to be careful here. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and fill her up with 20 or so. Now I gotta quickly go hunt down some primes. I think there's a few here, but they're gonna spoil in 6 minutes, and I think the tame is gonna take 9 or something like that. So I definitely need some more primes. There should be something around here that will give me some primes. Usually there is. I think I see some stegos over here. Yeah, stegos will give me some primes. That gave me a single prime. That's not good enough, stego. Come on. Hey, I got 4 out of that one. Okay, all those stegos gave me plenty of primes. Now I just gotta go babysit the torpor. It's still going up, which is good. Let's go ahead and put in all of the primes. That includes the ones that have like 4 minutes now. The rest of them have 21, so that is good news. And 75% should only take about one more. And it will be ours. Looky there. Named her Fanny. Haha. Cool, cool. Got ourselves another dimetrodon. Well, I say that. We've got to go collect the one we left in the swamp. Okay, for our first pair of breeding animals, I want to breed Mav, who is our awesome, amazing Argentavis, with our other awesome, amazing backup Argentavis, Amelia. So Amelia is the female, obviously, and Mav is the male. And so this is a little bit tricky with a single person. And the way breeding works is they first have to mate. So in order to do that, you actually enable, you go to behavior and you say enable wandering. If you look at the little item on this box, it says enable wandering to mate. So if you enable wandering, Mav will start mating with anybody around him that is also on wandering. So in order to make this easy so that they don't wander away from each other, because they have to be within a certain distance of each other for it to actually work, the first thing I typically do is I tell both of them to follow me. Just follow me. Because then if I enable wandering, they're not actually going to be wandering because they're following me. It's just the way the mechanics of the game work. So I'll set Mav to enable wandering, and he is wandering. And then I can set the same on Amelia and say enable wandering. And if you look at that box, it says remove following to mate, because they are following me, so they are not actually going to mate until they follow me. Now the trick is when they are wandering, they are going to start walking around, and they may go outside of the distance that they need to mate. So the key is I'm going to be spamming the U key, which is stop. So they're going to be wandering, but I'm going to press U, so they're stopping. So they're not actually moving, but the mating process can still continue. So what I'm going to do, without further ado, is say U, they're both going to stop following me, and then you can see that little heart, little beating hearts above each of them, which means that they are mating. And so then, if we look at Amelia, the female, we can see a little mating bar that says 13%, 14.9%. So when that gets to 100%, she's gonna lay an egg. 96%. And there, she hatched the egg. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna whistle for each of them to follow me so they don't wander off. I'm gonna make sure and pick up this egg, fertilized Argentavis egg. And then I need to disable wandering for both of these birds. And now I can make them stop following me. And now they're exactly where I left them. I got the fertilized egg. And the key here is that Amelia now says ready to mate in 23 hours, 12 minutes, and 17 seconds. Your mileage may vary depending on your server settings, but she has to wait before she mates again. Now Mav, on the other hand, is kind of a stud, and he doesn't have that waiting period. So he could mate with other female birds if you wanted to do a bunch of them at the same time, which is cool. So now, this is where our air conditioners come into play. So I'm going to take this fertilized egg. This is a non-fertilized egg. This is just one that Amelia hatched whenever I brought her over here. One that we would use to make kibble, for example. And this is the fertilized Argentavis egg. And it says here that the parents are Amelia level 246 and Mav level 274, which is cool. This will spoil after a certain time. That's years. So we're okay there. Yeah, so in order to make this work, we have to be near the air conditioners. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually drop the egg, which is the O key. So I can click drop. It drops the egg right next to the air conditioners. And you'll see on this status bar is that this is incubating. And it says 35 minutes and 0 seconds. So it's egg incubation is at 99%. It's going to go down to 0. When that gets to 0, we'll have a bird actually hatching. The egg health is 99%, which means that this egg could potentially be destroyed if it's dropped in an area that is not an ideal temperature where it's incubating. So just to demonstrate this, let's just try this out and see. So if I take it away from the air conditioners and I go over here and I drop the egg, it says too hot. And you can see that egg health is actually decreasing. So the RG egg, that temperature is too hot for it. So we need to come over here to the air conditioners, which is why we laid them down. Kind of center them in our view here. Click O, drop the egg, and it says incubating once again. And that egg health is gonna not decrease. It's gonna stay steady at 97.7, which is cool. So in 34 minutes and 23 seconds, we should be ready to hatch an RG, a baby RG. So the next thing we have to worry about with the baby, we've got 35 minutes, is what to feed it. And so RGs are meat eaters. They're carnivores, so they're going to need meat. So I could feed it raw meat. Amelia doesn't have any. I think Mav has some cooked meat. And so you really have two options. The quality of meat, so you don't need to go find prime meat to feed the babies. You can actually just use regular old, good old raw meat. Or what I typically do is I stock up on cooked meat. So you can see this fridge is entirely full of cooked meat. This fridge is entirely full of cooked meat. This one, okay, there's some prime meat and some jerky because we need that kind of stuff. But it's also got cooked meat. Every spare space in these fridges is filled with cooked meat. And the reason is the babies need meat. The cooked meat doesn't provide them as much food as a baby, but the spoil timer on cooked meat is much higher. And so when it's sitting in a feeding trough, for example, it'll last much longer per stack of meat than raw meat does. And so that's important because the babies need food all the time. They need so much food. And when they're tiny, tiny babies, as we'll see in a little while, they're tiny, tiny babies, you need to be constantly adding food to their inventory so that they can eat. Once they hit the juvenile stage, you can actually let them feed out of a feeding trough. And one of the reasons we kind of isolated this feeding trough from all our other dinos is because we don't want the other dinos eating the baby's meat, because the baby's going to need to eat a lot of food. So we've stocked up on a lot of food. I'll probably collect some more just to be safe, and then we'll have a baby in about 31 minutes. So this is just about 3 or 4 minutes away from hatching, and I realize that it's really late in real life. So I'm not going to be able to hatch it tonight. I'll hatch it in a day or two and get the whole process started. You got to have a little block of time so you can take care of the baby, especially early on. But the cool thing about these is that you can get them to the point where they're almost ready to hatch, and you can pick them up, and it doesn't impact their health, their egg health, or their time left to incubate. So you can see on this little stat thing that egg incubation 10 out of 100, so we're about 90% of the way there, and egg health is still 97%. So what we can do is we can take this egg, and it would normally spoil. Let's see, is there even a spoil timer on it? There is, which is ridiculously long as it is. But we'll just throw it into the fridge for safekeeping, and it's even longer. Like almost 2,000 years long. I hope I'm not still playing this game in 2,000 years. But we'll keep it there for safekeeping. When we're ready to hatch it, we can pull it out of the fridge, throw it down next to the air conditioners for a couple minutes, let it hatch, and be ready to go.